yeah, I don't usually put cording on the top, but because of the, so I think it's Kathy Reed and you that have signed up for this class. And I don't know that she's going to be here, but I definitely will obviously have her video for her. Unlike last night's class, that because when my camera froze before class even started, I stopped recording.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, not happy about that at all. So that's why I added another painting class, and I gave you guys
Oh, that's what that was.
yeah,
I wanted to ask you about that.
yeah, it's a new one, so that you can join in, and at least if you can't come, you will at least get the video links.
Okay, thank you. I have to tell you, it was so interesting to watch last night because, obviously you've done this before, but, to be truly a babe in the woods, and I don't know that I'll ever paint a canvas, but I like to know as much as I can about, let's say, my thing now is needlepoint. So I want to learn as much as I can because I can understand better. I can understand threads and colors and textures better when I can see that.
Well,
And
you're gonna love this one because I just spent over an hour trying to find a fabric that would go with this in my bins. I was like,
yeah,
I have so much material that there is no reason why I should have to buy anything. But I was like, no, I'll go and I'll look. And because this is my personal thing that I made up for my Zoom. Yeah, I told you I don't stitch, so it isn't very lovely. But the so this is
oh, cute.
yeah. I mean, I just painted some swirls on, and then I did I picked when Joyce bought the Osterville needlepoint shop from Christine. She had a bunch of fibers that she just felt, shop worn or whatever. She wasn't going to carry the watercolors and some of the rainbow galleries, I think. So she had them on half off, and then eventually she just said, take them. And so I mean, look at these. I have a whole baggie.
Well, aren't you the lucky one?
Right? So, but the problem is that then I go to do this and I'm like, oh, I got a lot of this blue. I'll do it in that blue. And it kind of goes with that. Oh, yeah, that'll be good. Trying to find that something that went with that blue was a joke. And so then, so I found these. I went to press this piece, and some piece of schmutz on my board.
But that's like Dupioni, that picks up everything.
Right, and so at least this is wide enough, just wide enough, and we'll lose some footage around there. But I was like, this top seam, normally what I do is I can meld everything together with that ladder stitch, and I don't usually put anything on the top as far as cording.
I stitched one and had it finished. I can't remember what's on top.
Right? The one that's that I had in that picture, that's Christine's personal one. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna go get it if I can find it quickly. Hang on. Mine does have some twist on the top.
Right. So the one that Christine has, I'm almost positive it has twist on the top. And but I didn't do that on my version because it's all canvas on, the one that I designed. It's all canvas, so I didn't need to.
Yeah.
But I thought, I'm just gonna go ahead and make some up. I had, like 15 minutes, which then quickly spiraled out of control. This is something to notice. This is the fireworks, and it's that ribbon. It's this thicker, it's flat, and it works up nice into cording, but it compresses down really thin. So I could have I thought it was going to be too much when I looked at this, but the way to tell is you twist it like that and you can see how tight it gets.
So I wonder if neon rays would be the same.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But so just, you ever use that, just use double the amount that you think you should.
Okay.
It's like, ooh, this is gonna be fun to put on the top of this. Tiny cording is not easy to make look really smooth when you're stitching it down. And then I went over to my ribbon rack and I went, oh, poop, are you kidding? This color again. I had one that was really dark, and I'm putting on just this baby blue one for the demo because
Absolutely.
I couldn't find anything. But then I thought, well, you could do a corded out of the firework, but I don't want to do something cheesy like that because it was, then it looks just like you couldn't find the ribbon. But
FYI, when I'm looking at this, it's bringing back the memory. So just so that you know, what I used for my handles on mine was I just got DMC floss.
Yep.
And I braided it.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, what could be cool with a bag like this is actually, if you were conscientious when you stitched it, you could actually do the tiny wood beads.
Oh, cute.
Even on a wire, so it would stand up.
Absolutely.
I think that this would be really cute with that. And I was kind of looking at that, but the beads that I have wasn't gonna work. I was like, at every turn, I was dashed. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
You probably have to have a really stiff wire for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna use I don't even know what gauge that is.
We have everything.
Yeah, I look like a hoarder with all of the totes and shelves with my ribbons, which I never put back nicely, so they're all over the place.
I'm sure it's organized.
Chaos. It's organized chaos. Christine will laugh. She's like, I walked up past this was like right before Christmas. She goes, I walked past your door because the bathroom is like right on the other side of this wall. She goes, and I just went, oh dear, because it just looked like it exploded in here.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, everything is so little, Pieces, they're all little.
And the little schniblets shoot everywhere off of this canvas, everywhere. Yeah. So one of the things that we're gonna do is, if you see in the screen, in the bottom corner over here, you can see my mouse. There's a little oval.
Yeah. Yes.
So how do you do that? That is a computer program it's just Microsoft Publisher, which is like one step up from Microsoft Word. And it has a circle tool, which is over on the left over here. And I just draw a circle, And then once we get this bag put together, we'll take a measurement off across the bottom. So I am going to show you how I do that in this program.
Okay,
And
I'm so curious.
yeah, and so this was one of the things that we talked about on one of the round ones, was about how to make the circles that you need for the right size, and I kind of fudge around with my round templates, but oval ornaments are just such a pain, and for so many people. That side. Okay. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question that has nothing, I just saw your fabric and the interfacing and so forth. Let me ask you a question about that. So I saw you did the alligator or the crocodile
Yep.
weight the other day. I wasn't in that class, but one of the things that Susie has, and she was asking me if I could make one, is like a log shape. So that's easy enough. But in order to keep the sand from getting out, I'd obviously have to use a very tight fabric. And then do I interface it with that interfacing, and that's it? Or do I have to have like a plastic tube?
So she wants it to be a log, right?
Yeah, for like a canvas weight.
Right, and she wants it to be round on the ends.
Yeah,
Yes.
just like a log. Just think log.
So
like a paper towel tube, but with the fabric outside and the I'm assuming sand on the inside. I just got a heavy box from Amazon today, so obviously that's sand.
oh, okay. So if I was doing that, I'd be concerned about cardboard because it would crush.
Yeah, no, I would either use the interfacing on the fabric, have the tightest I can, and then the interfacing that you have recommended in the past, or a plastic tube that I then sew like a sock to pull over it.
Right. See, with the yeah, I would probably do just the heavy interfacing. But when you do the interior curve, score it like I do.
Oh, that heavy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Not the
then
regular interfacing like you have on your silk that you're going to use today?
well, yeah, I mean, if you want it to be round, see, it won't be round if you don't give it some, because the sand's going to flatten even if you put round on the ends. That sand is just going to make that tube go flat.
Oh, that's true. It does settle a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it finds that it's going to just lay flat. So that's why if you want it to stay like a tube, you're going to have to give it some kind of structure, which then means it won't lay nicely over a frame. You know what I mean? It's not gonna like droop over. It might roll off of it. So,
okay. Well, thank you.
as far as the whole engineering aspect of it, that could be a little difficult
I'll just have to play with it.
to achieve the roundness.
Yeah.
You got my curiosity piqued.
Well, thank you for letting me run it by you.
No problem. Yeah. You know those kids tubes, the play tubes that they have like a boning spiral that runs through it.
Yeah.
That pop up. You might have to do something like that on the interior.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well.
No, I get your point.
Yeah. So,
I'm more perplexed now. But anyway, this is what I'm looking for, is what you're doing today.
That's
This is so
fine. It's
awesome.
fine. So we're gonna dart everything and get it all steamed back, just like everything we do. And I think I'm gonna pull this up. Just
I guess I'm the only one here. Nobody else has joined.
yeah,
Wow.
I think Kathy has to watch them on her own time. Um, so
Well,
private
I feel very, very lucky.
private lesson. So I still notch
Yeah.
because of flexibility and so are Susie's totes the ones that usually have like are they the ones that I put in the picture, or is that somebody else's, the red with the
I think
white?
that was, I think it was somebody else's. I think they're
Okay,
all pretty much the same, except
probably,
except
except
for yours, which have the base in it,
yeah.
which just makes such good sense.
Well, I have a big version of that as well, which I will be doing a video on because I actually have to go pick one up from a shop to finish it.
Oh, cool.
Because it's the only, I'll only finish my own designs now. And teach classes, I guess.
So is it like a larger version of what you have
Yeah.
there?
No,
What?
no. Of the same kind that I did of my little one. It
Oh,
just
of
looks
yours?
like that, but big.
Yeah,
So you stitch the bottom and everything so you don't have to try to find fabric.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I need to make up some more designs. Get some fresh ones out there.
This size here is like the perfect little gift card kind of. I
Right?
know it's a very expensive gift to put a gift card in, but they really, I mean, some of them are almost themed for it, and they're fun.
Oh, exactly. They are. They have all different kinds of, I actually just did one of mine for sports team that somebody requested. I can't remember. Oh my gosh, my brain is like mush that I can't remember who I just did a custom one for. Oh. Okay. I love my iron that I can turn the steam on and off with. It
Is
just,
that your Black and Decker? I remember somebody asked me for more.
yes, yes, because it just, the fusible interfacing, it really does work better without the steam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, I can tell what I worked on last time. And same as always, make sure to roll it over so you don't see any of the waste canvas.
Yeah.
What is your hardest finish that you've...
Anything with an inside corner, that darn fleur-de-lis, I told you, I think about that thing.
Did you
I don't
ever
even know
find
where
it?
to, I haven't even looked. It's the height of embarrassment. It's just, you know, it was the French one that says "C'est si bon" on it, and I wanted to give it to a friend who lived in Paris for 5 years on assignment, and I
Oh.
know that she would have absolutely loved it, but not no. It's just what a mess. It's those corners, like under the arms. It
Yep.
was just, yeah. So I'll never do anything like that again.
Wow. It is.
I could go on, but I don't want to do that because you're recording.
No, no, you're fine. You know, I think it's interesting to hear from people that actually, you know, do finishing when it's like the angel ornament that
Uh,
I'm not the only one that does not enjoy doing certain
mhm.
things. And like have said in the past with that angel ornament, it's because they used to want me to sew it together when I first started doing it. They wanted it sewn together and like puffed to the point of making it look to me distorted because you couldn't ever get the scalloping at the bottom to look right.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of why it became my nemesis, was just because of that. I don't I don't have that many problems with them anymore because trying to hide uh, doing those darts with a machine, and then you're trying to write everything. And I mean, this is why I learned all my little tricks about pointy areas, is because of
Oh,
that.
I'm watching what you're doing. Yeah. I've never pulled out any excess. I'm watching what there in your corners there.
Yeah, so it gets really thick on this, and I mean, I'm going to
Mhm.
pull all this apart anyway after I get my shape, and I want to make sure that when I look at it that everything is still looking blocked. And we also know that when we stitch something, it, because of the angle at which we do the stitching, one side can sometimes look a little
Yeah.
different than the other. And it's all because of that directional slant. So I tend to take a look. So we do it upside down. And you want to make sure, excuse me, that this is really thin material, but if you're using a thicker material like a velveteen, you want to make sure to bring it up a little because you
Mhm.
need to accommodate. But since this is really thin, I need to keep that interfacing right up at the top.
Is that your? I'm looking at this. I remember when I first started to watch your videos, mentioned a very thick interfacing, and I'm actually looking at a bolt of it that I only took out the other day. It's
Yes,
very
this
thick.
is
Is that what you're?
correct. This is the Pellex 70 is what I use. Um, because I used to use one that was even thicker that had a um, that was actually fusible, and it had like little grippies on one side, and then the other side was not fusible.
No, it's Pellet 70 also. So this is the one
Yep.
you had recommended. Yeah.
And so because we're putting this inside this, we need to take like a
Mhm.
16th off, maybe a little bit more. We won't take any. Okay, so here's the thing. I was just measuring for the back with the hole, leaving it up to the top. That's not right. We need to cut in all the way around
Mhm.
because I've got to fit it inside. I was thinking that this is the backing for the,
Ah, I see. Yeah.
so,
See, I learned this from you too. I do this all the time. Now, mind you, you know, I don't do much for Susie at all. So I'm learning from you. And if I can contribute anything more in the shop, then I'd love to. Um,
right.
I'm learning.
Yeah, every little bit. and that's, some shops might not be happy that I'm doing this, but I'm really trying to get us some more finishers. I'm not trying to take away their business. It's for the people that 90% of the people, I feel like they are still coming. They realize that it isn't easy and they're still going to need the help.
Yeah.
And so I don't want the shops to be upset with me, but I
No,
also want to make sure that, for the people that really get into it, they could have some good finishers out there that don't come in and, they know what to do. They're not going to have to worry about having to send their stuff back because it isn't right. I think that'll fit in there. Maybe. I'll take a little more off this side. Because I think that there's a lot of proficient people out there that wouldn't mind having a second job of doing something like this.
Yeah.
Or be able
to be a little bit more creative, like,
yeah,
branching out from ornaments, let's say, into,
right.
hey, that's just because I'm a big, true beginner. But your generosity with your time and teaching those of us who are interested, it's so appreciated, Kelly.
Well, I'm glad that you appreciate it. I enjoy it, so it's twofold for me. Because I'm usually stuck in my little studio alone. And I'm a talker.
And last night it got late. I felt so bad because then, of course, I had to ask about the leaf, and I thought, come on.
No. No, the night before, that was nuts.
That I missed.
Oh, it was for the West Coast people.
Oh, yeah.
So I knew it would probably go long, and I still loved it. It didn't bother me. I kept telling them, I'm like, my dog is so mad at me.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm a late night person, so I tend to get more work done at night because you don't get interrupted, and okay, so that's gonna, yeah, that fits in there fine. Sometimes I don't know if you've noticed this, but you have to adjust it in even a little bit more if they are doing a thick basket weave, because the threads take up more interior room, if that makes sense. They're so thick that when you turn them over, you might have to accommodate for the thickness of the threads on the back of the canvas.
What is absolutely mind-blowing is when they end every single knot right
on the edge. Oh, and it just makes that edge so thick. Yes, that is a please do not do moment. And that's where I think the classes like that with finishers actually do help stitchers that they don't realize why that edge is so thick when it comes back from the finisher. And it's like, well, I didn't want to have to cut them, and we don't dare cut them.
No.
Because you don't know what might come loose.
Exactly.
The one with the gator, I was concerned, but she tied off all of her beads. There were so many on the back, and there was a brick cover that I had this past fall, and oh my gosh, they just did a running thing between all the clusters of these little flowery beads, and it's a brick cover, so everything bends, all the ends bend around, so it went slack.
Wow.
And then one of them broke, like a knot, the end knot gave way, and I started losing the beads, and I'm just like scrambling to keep everything where it was so I didn't have to put them all back on myself because it was covered with little clusters to emulate the flowers. It's like, no. Okay. Now we do for the backing. All right, this is the edge that is straight. Keep it parallel to it. And, I looked at the bag that that was a shop model from Christine's original store that was in that picture with this one. And I looked at that to get my shape as far as how to put these together, because she asked me if I could at the time when she had the shop. And it's done the same way. The sides are hand sewn. It's all the same way. Now I'm trying to keep this kind of to the inside of the pencil line because it's going to be a little bit bigger than this, because when you trace around something, you're just going to have the spacer of this point of the pencil. So I don't want it to be bigger than the bag that I just traced, because then it'll look weird. Just like when you accidentally do a little bit too big for the back side of an ornament. Some people do that so that they can kind of lay their cording against something.
Yeah.
But I don't do that. All right. I can see. There's a little weird curve. All right. I'm breaking this down a little bit by rolling it in my fingers so that after, when we sew it on, it won't make weird kinks. It and this is essentially how I do eyeglass cases. I do, the mini stockings, any of that kind of. All right. Doesn't look like it's any bigger down below or up above. Since I'm having to make sure it's straight. Can't always tell when it's the interfacing on the back side. You can't see through.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be that big. So, are you able to do monogramming for?
No.
No.
I have no ability to do that. That has to go to somebody else.
Gotcha.
I'd love to have that toy, but Santa hasn't been listening, so.
Well, trust me, when you I spent so many days cursing at mine. It bobbin wasn't right, this wasn't right, that wasn't right. Finally start getting it, and I retired from it, from doing finishing, and then, necessity, went back into finishing,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like my machine was going, oh, I thought you forgot about me, I'll behave now.
Aw.
But I mean, I've went and priced out one recently for a higher end one. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
forget
I
about
know.
it.
They are gorgeous, though.
Oh yeah.
I
Now,
stopped in at a store that sells all the quilting, quilting fabrics and stuff,
yes.
and she had those machines humming. Because she does all monogramming also.
Ooh,
I, oh my gosh, it was just so cool.
yes.
But these machines, I mean, that's like a mortgage.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I have a friend now who she started doing finishing and we became friends. She was asking me questions, and it was kind of before I really started making many videos. And she has one that was a business that she had, was monogramming, key
Yeah.
fobs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling me how much, and it was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, crazy. I went down to replace, to get a sewing machine so that I wouldn't kill the monogram machine, which does both. Mine does
Mm-hmm.
both. And oh, just a regular good machine was scary enough. I said,
Yeah,
look, I,
yeah. I just have a very old Kenmore,
oh,
and I remember when I bought it, I thought, I just don't want a plastic machine. I want a metal machine that's going to
yes,
last. And that's like from 1984, I guess, 3, 4, something like that. And I should have it serviced because it's never been serviced.
right,
But knock on wood. And I only use it now and then. I don't use it for anything much. At Christmas time, maybe I'll use it.
right. Yeah, it's when you're just doing the handwork, you don't usually use it, but like today, we're gonna use it.
Oh, okay.
Yep, for the lining. Yep. So if you start doing these for her, you're gonna start using it. But it
We'll see about that.
it's like a 2 second thing. It's like and you're done. But I mean, you can. There's workarounds for everything,
Yeah. I do love that pellets that you're working with. I just think that's so great.
It
It
is.
really, really has a nice, it holds its form so nicely.
Oh, just look at all you guys lifting up. What's with that? Shame on you. Get back down there. Hmm.
Doesn't that look nice?
Yeah. Thank goodness it's straight.
No, I'm watching what you do with the corners. The corners are not easy.
No, so what you do is you do a dart in here, and that's
Yeah.
kind of thick. So oh, can you see? That's kind
Yep.
of a thick, so I'm going to split it in the middle,
Yeah.
and then I'll come back and deal with that in a second. This is so close to the edge, I cannot dart in closely at all. Because then the darts will show when I turn it. And since I do not have more of this material, we are super, super careful. I mean, I thought of trying to put the lavender on here, and it's like, look, if you don't use a lead color, that if you don't have a fabric color that's the same as these pieces, it just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you obviously feel that the hot glue is the good glue for working with the LX.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just got to hold it till we hand stitch it together anyway. The Eileen's just doesn't, or the stuff that I use, which is the Fabri-Tac.
The Fabri-Tac, yeah, I'm looking at it right here, I have it right in
It
front of
just
me.
won't dry quick enough for us to just be able to pin this together, and you know, you'd be sitting here for a few minutes. So then we can take these two little darts here and just run a little glue. They should open up more, but they're not gonna, so we're just gonna mash them down. And we'll probably eventually cover that with the stuff, cording. Because I don't see us having a good enough edge along the top to not have it. It won't have that nice polished look if I attempt to go without a cord. Now, you don't use it around the bottom, though. At least that I have ever done.
No, this one doesn't have it on the bottom.
Yeah. The lining in yours, does it have, in the bottom, does it have like a round piece that is, you can tell is covered around a piece of foam core or fabric?
Let me see. It's hard to tell. Well, the fabric lining is on the bottom, but I can't tell. It's hard, whatever it is on the bottom.
Yeah, so they made a circle and they cover it with fabric, which is exactly what we're going to do. And then you just plop it down inside and it holds the lining down in. It's a pretty nifty little trick.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to, no way do you want to attempt to have to sew a circle into the bottom of a lining.
I can't, yeah, I don't know how they did that because I'm trying to find a seam with my finger.
Oh, did they?
I can't tell.
Does your iPad have a camera that you can actually show me?
I can send it with my phone, yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
You got my cell. You got my cell number, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see. It's hard to tell. Well, I'll make it your responsibility to figure it out.
Let me see. I need more glue. Glue stick. Let me see. There. Because if they did it all in one piece...
No, it's not one piece. I'm sure of that.
Then it is...
No, because the lines aren't measuring up.
Right. Then...
In the triple check, you'll see.
Oh, I see. Yeah, then it's going to be fabric covering something that's then
Okay.
inserted down in. That's a class I actually need to put up. They were talking about that in the one ornament class. It's hard to get a good shot down in those things, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I got the light in there okay though. Let's see what you think. I've sent it.
Okay. It'll get here eventually. My studio tends to not get always great reception with my phone.
And I have like horrible reception here too. As soon as the leaves come out of the trees, my reception drops.
Oh man!
Yeah. So in the wintertime, I can have nice phone conversations. In the summertime, it's like, can you hear me now?
Oh goodness. Okay, come on, phone. Alright, so we've got it all the way around. We're gonna put it together and get it all matched up. And we use our pins. I think, how do I want to do this? I really would have loved it so much better if I had a fabric that was not silk. Because, yeah, nothing is as easy with silk.
This looks like it's been, what? This looks like a cotton twill or something that they used on this.
Right. Well, I mean, that is kind of what a tote bag, you know, the bean bags and stuff are done with. But if out of any of the silks that I could be using, this is probably the best one because it is pretty hardy. Wow, I still haven't gotten your text.
Well, I don't know if that's my problem. It probably is. Like, I have one ball.
Yeah. And I have one.
Oh, it hasn't even been sent yet. I'm looking at the, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
It shows.
Oh, the delivered or whatever. Yeah. I get you.
Probably going to deny the whole thing. I'm going to take it over to the window, as if that'll make a difference.
Well, I think we are about to get some rain, and I am going to have to turn some lights on.
Yeah, it looks like it here too. I was going to send you more than one picture, and I think that's the problem.
All right, so we definitely want to get those pulled as close together as possible. Now, okay, give me a second. I'm going to turn on some lights. that's a little better. Okay. That reminds me, I gotta take my computer home with me tonight because I have to start uploading the videos from the Froggy class. It's gonna take
From the what class?
The Gator class.
Oh.
They're really big files because it took so long. So.
I have an iPhone, and for whatever reason, must have an Android.
Yes.
Yeah, for whatever reason, whenever I try to send like a picture or something like that to an Android phone, it's as if, there's some kind of problem with that. And I don't know why, but it's always with the
Oh,
iPhone.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And
Let's see,
annoying.
message failed. It's failed. I don't know why. It happens all the time.
Wow.
So I just tried to send them separately.
Right.
So we'll see if that gets to you.
Yeah, because you're not that far away from me.
No. I'll do one way or another.
No, it's just a curiosity of, because I'm pretty sure it's the exact same way as the way I do it, and the one that we have here. So yours is like a checkerboard.
Yeah, I sent the fabric that I wanted for the inside, and
Nice.
so it's like a mini gown.
Cute. I love that.
Black and white. It's cute.
All right.
And that's just for the inside. The outside is, like I said, it's a white cotton. It's heavy duty cotton.
Right. So we're just going to, like with everything else, there it goes. I grab from the needle. I always scoop the fabric into the needle point. Let's see what you sent me. Actually, I got 3 at once.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's how they did it. Yep. Yep. All right. Do you curve needle or do you not curve needle? It's okay if you don't. It was just.
No, I mean, my biggest problem is tying knots in that fishing line. Oddly enough.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, you say that because you do it all the time, and fishing line doesn't like me because when I try to tie it, it's like mercury. It's really hard for me to control the fishing line.
See, and I feel that way about it is, the devil's string is that clear thread. Oh my gosh, people that use that. I mean, I know that, there are quilting people that use it and they use it for all different kinds of things. I just think it's evil. It just unspools and goes crazy because it's so thin.
That's the way I look at fishing line.
Right.
but it does the job.
It does.
Now, do you have, is that a single,
Yep.
it is,
It's a single running thread where you have a tail that you just keeps pulling out, pulling through a little at a time. And when we get to the top, I'm pulling this down with this finger. This is why using a different fabric other than silk is nice, is because I'm getting separation marks. So when I get to the top, I'm going to kind of flex it so that it arches open the back side and it meets a little bit nicer. It'll kind of disappear when we open the bag up, even though we see them now. It won't be as strained when we open it because these seams will kind of come in on each other.
so with the canvas, that you designed totes on, that has the bottom
Yes.
and the back all attached.
Yes.
So you put that together, is that sort of like, a little pinch on the bottom on each side? When you
Those,
put it together?
no, they all perfectly come together at the bottom.
Wow.
Because it's like 10 stitches across the bottom, and then each little outward boop is, no, it's 20 across the bottom and it's 10 on each flap that folds in. So it comes in and meets perfectly. It's actually was a McCall's tote bag design.
Really?
It came in 2 pieces, and I just said, why do I have to do 2 pieces of fabric? Well, the reason they did it is because they wanted a solid color bottom and then a print color top. And I was like, well, that doesn't necessarily need to be that way. I can do da da da. And it worked out beautifully. It's just basically like a paper bag, ultimately, when you unfold it. Okay. So right now it kind of looks a little strained at those sew points. If I think it looks, by the end, if I think it looks too jagged, what I'll do is I'll come back down it and and go in between the stitches that I've already put in so that it's a smaller stitch line. But when you do this, that kind of disappears, so you don't see it.
Yeah.
So that's why we wait to decide. And I'm leaving my tail on there so that just in case if I have to go back down, but also I can do my cording that way. And I'll leave this tail on because then I can do the bottom. I don't have to keep re-knotting threads. So this is how I tie a knot. Okay? So what you do, I'm going to put this underneath so maybe you can see it better. So you go around your finger and make a loop. Okay? Put the tail through once, twice, 3, 4, 5, pull it down, and then
easy for you to say.
and then kind of take your nail and pull it down, and that's a fisherman's knot.
So
and
that was 5 or 6?
5. So then above the knot that you just put in, wrap it around your finger and hold the knot in between the pinch fingers and do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oop, I got my little loop there a little small. So then as it comes down, you pull it down onto the knot you just previously made. Now you got a giant knot.
Very cool. This to me is the best thing I've done in a long time, is to glue the knot. I love that.
Yes, I made myself crazy pulling it through fibers and through the needlepoint canvas, and it's like, ugh, are you kidding me? Now, you know what I didn't do? I didn't bend my needlepoint interfacing, but that's okay. I can just
You didn't do what? I'm sorry.
I didn't, when I did the interfacing into this, I didn't break it down and soften it a little, but that's okay. We'll get it there.
Mine is so stiff. I don't think whoever did this one, I don't know if this feels stiffer than the interfacing.
Oh, it probably is. People use a lot of different things.
Yeah. I like the idea of the interfacing much better.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little scary when you open things up and see what people use.
Oh, sure.
Okay. I will say this about the silk. At least I can push the little pinholes closed. Okay. Now, you could do this with where you do the sewing machine, okay, down the sides, flip it outright, and then put your interfacing pieces down in between your seams and kind of tack down on the interior with your glue gun to hold the seam, hold the material back, or even with your Fabri-Tac so that the seams...
Can't even imagine that.
Yeah, you could. If you didn't want to have to, sew it like this. If this is too intimidating with the curved needle, then you can do it the other way. And they will just slide, you can slide them right down in. It's just a little more work.
But how is it that the sewing machine would work? I don't understand. Maybe I'm misunderstanding everything.
So just make it like a pillow, where you just take your material, and then you put your needlepoint piece right sides together and sew up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And then write it.
And I have a heck of a time trying to write it.
Yeah. That's why I don't do it, but because the interfacing won't be in there. So, it's not necessarily going to be that difficult to write. You just have to be careful. I mean, look at how many people do it with mini stockings every day. Ish.
Well, I'm taking that class from you on Tuesday. So we'll see what we do.
It's the same thing as this, honey. It's the same thing as this. So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you start seeing kind of how I do things like that. I'm pushing this down so that it opens this up so that these seams come together a little bit nicer and aren't as stressed as the other ones were. And when we're done with this, we have to measure for our lining before we put the bottom in. I'm saying that as much for me as for you, because I don't want to forget to do it, because then it's a pain in the butt once you put the bottom on. Oop. Okay. Just leave that for the ready. So, now this is how you do a lining on pretty much anything, okay?
Yeah.
We're gonna like this. I have a little tick taken out of that side, that's why I did it this way. And mark where the top is. Gesundheit. And basically where the bottom stops as well. For this particular design, you need to know where the bottom is because we need to stop our thread at about that point. And you don't usually have to do that, say, on an eyeglass case. You're going to go across the bottom of the eyeglass case when you do that. but with this we need to. And then come in.
So they're two separate seams is what you're saying, each side?
Yep.
Because you leave the bottom open. Okay.
Correct. So we come in and we do a 1/4 inch. Okay. And go to there. And we do, and the reason we do a little up like that is so that it'll flare out to meet the top, but our seams will go down the sides. If we do it out to here, it'll be too big of a lining and it won't fit down in.
Yeah.
Okay. But when we cut it, we're going to leave this extra. You want to make sure you have plenty of extra because we're going to cut it, almost dart it, so that when it sits in the bottom, all of those little darts come in and bend down across the bottom of the floor of the bag, so that when you drop the little piece down into it, you won't see any white edging or cut material or anything underneath it. So it fits right down in. Okay.
Very cool.
Yes, that's a Limoges box trick. Or actually, anytime you line boxes like that. Alright, so now you can ultimately make your base as round as you want. Some people might do more of an oval, you know, just a long and skinny, but you can accommodate pretty much anything. So what I do is I get my little ruler and I put it down, and it's probably going to do a 2 by 1 1/4. So if I do 1 1/4, you can see down through this ruler, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So what I'm looking at is from edge to edge. If I expand it out, do I want to? Yeah, if I go 1 1/4, so these will be pulled in, the tips.
Yeah.
Because the circle's going to come out more oval than the way I'm pressing on this. This is how I also measure for stand-ups on the bottom, the soft-sided stand-ups. This is how I measure those circles as well, ovals. Yeah, so I think 1 1/4 by 2. So if we look at our program, I right click on my circle and it says Format Auto Shape. And I come up to the size and I'm going to put, it's 1.25 now, and wow, I kind of guessed it, didn't I? Yep. By 2, and I hit OK. And I'm going to make a copy of that, and I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to Format Auto Shape. You can also see how big it is, which I don't think you can see on that screen.
No.
Because I have it hidden. In the bottom right corner, it does give you the dimensions when you click on the piece. There's a little thing at the bottom right corner. Hold on. See down there in the bottom here? It shows you the size of the circle.
No, I can't.
I know, it's so tiny.
Yeah, I can't make it out.
Okay.
I see kind of the gist of it.
Okay. So we're going to go to size. It tells us what it is now anyway. And I'm going to make this we'll go 2.2. If we have to cut it back, we can. If it's, I'm afraid I'm gonna need the in-between size.
Mm.
So file and then print and Pro 8.5 by 11. Okay. So then I'll cut out the paper. Shouldn't take that long to print. I'll cut the oval out and I will put it over the bottom and I'll see if I think it's which one is actually going to work the best, and then we'll go from there.
So what you had said was you go into Microsoft Publisher.
Yep.
There's a circle tool on the left, which I'd have to see if I open.
Hold on.
That is,
let me see. Let me grab this. Oh, not that. This. Okay. And let me. I don't think I can. Hold on. Order from the top. Now you get to see double of me.
here it is. Okay.
Okay. See on the left over here, you can see there's on the left over here, there's a circle tool.
Yeah.
You click on
okay.
it. You just click on it,
Mm-hmm.
and oh, not the rectangle. I want that. You get the crosshairs up,
Mm-hmm.
and you just start to draw it out. Okay.
Ah.
Then you right click on it.
Wait a minute.
So
okay.
Draw a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Right click.
Yeah.
Format auto shape.
Okay.
Click size tab at top. And then you can put in whatever size you need in your dimensions and hit OK.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Great.
Let me get this printer. My printer's so big I can't have it on this side. Okay. We're done with this. So let's put you orders. Okay. So let's see.
Oh, would you look at that?
Look at that. I have to see if there's like an open source type of program like this for drawing circles so that I can actually teach a class. So if somebody doesn't have Publisher,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
I don't know if I have it or I've got to look. I have enough trouble with this laptop. It keeps, every time there's an update,
Yeah.
it drops internet.
Oh, jeez. Well, so the issue with if you have a Microsoft account, usually you might have access to it, but not everybody does, and that's why I haven't really decided to do a class on it yet. I have to do a little more research because I want people to be able to have something that they don't have to pay a bunch of money to get, you know,
Well, they
and
also need to understand why it would be important to know how to do this.
oh yeah,
Because, I mean, one of the big things, for example, is cutting a perfect circle and all this stuff. And this would make it so much easier because you'll have a template.
exactly. And whenever I tried to like just buy templates, they just don't come that way.
Yeah.
You know, they don't. And you can make some of them, but it's only they're only so good.
Hmm.
So I have a feeling it's going to be this one.
Oh, look at that.
Mm,
This is really exciting.
I don't know. Might be this one. Might be, like I said, in between. That in between size. No, nope, it's this. Now, if we have to, we can shim it down a little bit, like I do with my templates when the ornament falls in between. I can take the piece and just kind of do my little trimmy thing that I do with my pencil and bring it in an eighth or something. I don't have to print out another one. Now I can
Hmm.
see my board has a little curve in it, so I'm going to come to the end that seems the flattest.
This is foam core board,
It is the
yeah,
1/8 inch,
the 8 inch, yeah.
and I'm going to, and this will be the bottom piece, the bottom edge line, because the other side won't be as perfect for the same reason why we do ornaments the way we do ornaments. The nice edge, but I'm not really going to, I'm kind of cutting at an angle in a little bit
Hmm.
when I'm cutting it, so it slides down in the bag nicely. If it doesn't look like you've achieved it after you've done this, you can always, but I don't do the 45-degree cut on this because I want the sides of this foam core to kind of support
Hmm.
the bag. I want it to hug the bag. I don't want it to disappear away from it. It's not like when we do standard ornament. And I'm just kind of smoothing down this board because as I cranked around, it gave me a little ripple on that edge.
Hmm.
So I'm just making sure. And this little weird tick that I have on, it's kind of sticking out further than the bottom piece. I'm just cleaning that up a little. Okay. All right. Now we can just take this and we're going to test it. See if we can get it to fit in there and have it look nice. That's it. That's the perfect size.
Absolutely amazing.
So with the fabric, I could be concerned that it might not fit, but it's so thin, I think we're okay. I think so. We're gonna go for it.
That's perfect. Look at that.
Yeah, I can't even get it back out. So that's what makes me worried. So here's what we're gonna do after I just said that, because it fits so tight in there, I'm gonna bevel it out a little bit so that the bottom fits tight, but it allows the excess fabric that we're gonna flip up over here to support that sides that I wanted supported and not actually make it too tight to fit down in there. You'll see what
Okay.
I mean in a minute. because when you fold all of these tabs up, it's going to,
It's gonna take a lot of room.
yeah, it is. And the glue, you know, you're gonna have glue there. I really try to keep my gluing on the top and not come down.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to look at the direction now. Flat side towards the material, and I'm gonna try to make sure that this is straight across, because sometimes it can look a little shifty once you get it in, and you don't want the material to look, with anything with a stripe, all it takes
Mm-hmm.
is a little bit and it's gonna look cockeyed. You know, for my whomever I give the gift to, they're not gonna care, but I will. There. Yeah, I think that's good. All right. Don't go too close.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't put all of my darts in. I always tack down one side so it stays where it's supposed to and doesn't travel in my hand as I move around it. I go and I do the opposite end for the same reason. Well, your birds sound happy on your end.
Can you hear that?
I can. I'm so happy. Every night I have one that is just, it's like he's held it in all day.
Oh.
And he's just like, ah, la, 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 out in the shrubs, like, dude, wow, okay.
I'll tell you.
I can see you're a happy fella. Okay. Now, I do have to say, sometimes it is harder to get that line in the bottom, the circle.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a trick to be able to fish the little circle out of the bottom, because I've lost it down in there a couple times, just, you know, too tight, doesn't want to come back out. It's like,
Right.
no. Uh, the things you remember when it's
Isn't that right?
Christmas. It's Christmas and you're fighting with something going, just work.
Yeah.
I knew that did that.
I will really feel grown up when I can bevel my faux core like you do. No, brother. I think that's such a wonderful technique, um, for obvious reasons, like you said, for things to fit. Um, but my bevel and your bevel are two different beasts.
You'll get there. You'll get
I've got to get there.
there.
I want them to look like, look how perfect that is.
All right.
This is impressive.
Come on. It's all, you gotta push those pointy parts so it sits. Sometimes you have those moments where it's just like, there you go. Now, because this has the silk on this side, I'm going to mainly pin through the needle point side. I'll do a couple on this side, but I'm going to barely catch it because I just don't want to scar the silk. And we're going to, when we sew this, we're going to definitely go below line to try to hide where we stitch. Go in the seam a little bit more, hopefully.
Yeah,
but we
gotta keep it from popping up too.
Right. So, see, I can see these little kind of bumps? Those are from the darts on the underside. Just run that dowel needle in and it just kind of pushes them down in a little bit. Love my dowel needle.
What's the other word for it? You said, what was it, a upholsterer's needle the other night?
It is. Yeah, it's an upholsterer's needle, it's a dowel needle, it's a pokey tool. Some people have tools that are, not the needles, but I like these the best because they're nice and small. As far as, I mean, they have some that are, a good 10 inches long so that they can sew through the back side of a chair and then pull the button back through and pull all of that and tie it off. And so, yeah. Now, the thing that's going to give us our roundness at the top is going to be like when we put the cording on and when we put the other on. The lining in. When we put the lining in. So, okay.
That looks fabulous.
Looks weird because my pins are making it sit wrong, but yeah.
No, it looks perfect.
Alright, so here's our thread, our fishing line from the bottom. Take a second and there's one. I'm getting like all of your
Now it's coming.
Yeah, I got all of your texts with your picture. I'm like, 6. Oh my gosh.
No, I tried to send
That's
them
hilarious.
First I sent them 3 the first time,
Yeah.
and then the next time I sent 1, and then another, and another.
Well, I was worried. I started hearing it's like, okay, I better check and make sure it's not a family member having some crisis. It's like, no, we're just getting all of that information finally. Okay. Now, if you were doing, like, say, a soft-sided stand-up, you would not want to pull these areas in, or if you wanted to put cording on the bottom, you want to leave this hole open and that hole open so you have a finish and a start for cording.
Oh,
when you're going up and around and everything.
I see.
So that's a trick for something else. This we don't care about that. So, and we're doing the grab thing again. We're going through and just grabbing that there. We're going to take you out. And that'll pull that nice and tight there. We want to push this and get that seam up and get our bottom down in a little bit more. Come on. Just trying to move those, whatever fiber I used on this, because it definitely wasn't the fireworks that I made the cording out of, because I would have never used that ribbony kind of stuff to try to stitch with. But it's obviously the same color as the fireworks, because it matched a little too perfectly. You know, I should just start being honest with myself and saying that the classes are all going to be 3 hours long, because I'm looking at the time going, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's like I still.
It was a little bit more than.
It was. I had put from 6 to 9 because I planned on, you know, I didn't have enough of a plan last night. The next one I will. It's gonna. I'll have a specific design, and I'm gonna take a cue from the things that you asked for at the end. Larger area doing shading, and still the little things. Oh, come on. I know there is canvas in there. And again,
To the subject of you going overtime, I have a call coming in at about 7:15. So don't rush, but if I have to leave, please understand that that's why.
oh honey, that's fine, and you'll see the video.
Yeah.
So, but that's another reason why I said it to you, is that I know because if I can't make the top smooth enough, and I should just put the cording on it because your sample has the cording on it, so I will, so that you get the full Magilla.
It looks like they put the cording on top of the. Yeah, they put the cording on top of the handles.
Yep. You put the handles in first.
Yeah, and then the cording.
Correct. All right. I don't think I want to come back, push that down. felt like I jumped that intersection, that seam, and I want to make sure it really stays down nicely. So I
Now,
just,
was this the tail from one of your side seams?
it was, yes. So I just went back, jumped back, and put a stitch back in to make sure that it's going to lay down nice and tight on that seam. Okay. And at this point, I don't really need those in. So because we're doing this, we're basically going to start doing a ladder stitch. I think. No, I just was ending up on the wrong side. It's a little different because when both sides are fabric versus the needle point on this side to just be able to grab, you can't do that. You have to run your needle in, and it really is truly the ladder stitch. So you don't want to get too big with the stitch. There. Now if you look at it and you kind of go, I don't know. Sometimes steam the fabric after you're done and just kind of, yeah, and then just kind of press it with your finger, you know, just to kind of give it a little smooth down. Because like this, I mean, it's silk, so if it gets bungee, it's working fine. Just press it up or even just run your finger over it and it'll go right back up again. Meet your seam. It's funny how things like that, just trying to pull a needle through can kind of make it wrinkle.
Oh, yeah.
And just running your finger over it can smooth it out. So do you have to work today?
Yeah. It's canvas crawl today.
Oh. How's that going?
Busy.
Good. And round the horn. Done.
That looks so much better than the bottom of mine.
Okay. We gotta do our little sweep. Some of it's, the material. That heavy canvas is hard to have that kind of a finesse edging,
Yeah.
But, all right.
Nice.
So now, I'm just going to kind of, I better not do that. Give me a second. So one thing I forgot about was the machine part.
While you're doing that, I have to take a second to get something to drink. I'll be right back.
You go right ahead, honey. Where's my feet? We're just going to sew this lining together.
It's getting so chilly. I
Yeah.
love it.
It was very cool out when I was driving in the car running errands today. It's like, woo, can handle this. All right, because this is moire, I am going to pin it in a couple places because it will slide around. And okay, give me a second and you will be able to see. When you try to rush, that's when everything decides to catch on stuff it shouldn't, and oy, oy. Okay. So the other night when I did the gator, I did not use sand. I used number 9 birdshot, it's heavier than sand is. And it's tinier than a BB. So you can't even feel it on the interior.
Really?
Yeah, it's great.
Where do you find that?
I went to a gun shop in Hyannis. It's I can't get anything delivered to me that is any kind of, like, Walmart isn't allowed to ship BBs here or anything else. So I had to go to our local gun shop and buy a bag of it. It's like a 25-pound frickin' bag. I was like, jeez, okay. So what we do is we're cutting right along the edge,
Mm-hmm.
right along the edge. Like that, okay? Like that.
You really have sort of, yeah, okay.
Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to peel oop, up, 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 up. Almost just flung my needle away. Trying to get all of this junk off of here. So I'm going to pull this and I'm going to kind of finger press it. And these are the bottoms. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And I'm going to set it down in to see how deep it is. If I've got the right, I do. Yeah. Okay. And then while it's like this, because I can see a line there to go up against. I don't like to do both sides at the same time, just in case for some reason it's a little askew that I don't realize, and then the next thing I know, I've just ruined the other side, gone too high. Alright, but now we want to turn them in like that. And all turned in. And then we pop it down inside. You know, I don't necessarily want big old long fingers, but sometimes just a little bit longer. would be helpful. Okay. Dig that.
Look at this.
Okay. All right. And now this gives you your line for darting. I don't want to cut my fishing line that I have there. Not that I can't feed another one in, but okay. And then we'll pop that part of the seam around so it lays in flat. And these will tuck right under and will just kind of disappear. So don't worry about those little tabbies.
Even though it's sort of angled towards the outside, that'll
Yep,
disappear.
yep.
Okay.
And again, this is just so that hard edge isn't fighting the top fold that you're going to make down below when you turn it over. You got to dart it. Don't think you can not dart it, because
No, you know,
start in the middle. Sorry, I have absolutely no moisture in my fingers apparently. And you just fold it right under. Boop. Put your first pin in. I don't really tend to be an overpinner. This is really nice, kind of, it's definitely not that acetate moire. It's a very nice, thick moire. So the nice thing about it when you're doing it as lining is you have a line to follow.
Oh, yeah.
It does a nice little fold for you. And we have to do the back side before we can do the corners. Okay. Now sometimes I try to do the fold before I put it in. It doesn't always work. So that. Now don't make a liar out of me that you're not going to disappear, because that will vex me. Come on, fold under. Oh, that's what I got to do. Hold on. Fine, fine, fine. So then that side goes under and that side goes over. Come on.
Such a small space.
Right? And my big fat fingers are preventing it from doing what it needs to do. Come on, you. I want you up a little. See, and this is where... come on, honey. Don't do this. Don't be all ridiculous. There. You I can chop off. And you I will stuff under. And this is where cording is going to cover some sins with the lining. So the reason it doesn't love what I did in that corner with the angle up is because it is not a straight up and down top. That's why I had to fuss with this. If it had straight sides down, you wouldn't have had to have mucked about. I wouldn't have had to have cut those threads. But because it does, which then, come on now, there, that's still perfect down in there.
It sure is.
All right, let's get you. Oof. Sure, this side did it right away. Good job. Fabric, thank you for behaving. Okay. Just like that. That's how the other side should have been. Silly. I'm not going to do it there. I wonder. Okay. All right. While I know you're still here, I am going to do a test run and see how
Don't pour it down.
How small we have to make it. Yeah, you can use mat board if you want. So let's use this as a test. So you take what do I want to use? Maybe I'll just use thread. Oh, I'll use my fishing line. Put your fishing line or a ribbon or something down inside.
Oh, that's clever.
Then hopefully there. Then push this down. Okay. So we probably need wow. I don't know. I think if we just take off a little bit. Because we have to accommodate the fabric. Come on.
I remember when I got mine back, I thought, oh my God, that was expensive. I don't remember how much it cost, because it's a while ago now. But I can see why. This is very labor intensive.
Oh, completely. Completely. And it's, I mean, you're looking at 2 hours and lining and yeah. Made a bit of a mush out of that, but it's okay. I'm going to take same issue. You want to make sure that I'm trying to catch the light behind this so I can see to make sure it doesn't get all cockeyed. And I'm doing this now before I sew this top in so that if I need to lower this top edge, roll it in a little bit so it drops down a little further. Now, yeah, because then I need to be able to do it now and not drop this in afterwards and find that either the lining is too tight at the bottom for it to go down to where we want it to go down to. So I like to do it now just to make sure that top edge is, because if I wait and then I push it way down in there and then I have strain marks at the top, I don't want that, because even after the cording is on, it's going to show those strain marks. So that's why I do it in this order. I think because I'm gonna put the cording on, I'm not going to be as disagreeable with having to choose two different types of silks. Um, I really did want something that was distinctly different, but yeah. Thanks to my brilliant color choices.
I think it looks really nice. It's impossible to match anything anyway. Absolutely impossible.
Yeah, and it's just,
Even white.
oh, right? That can be just brutal. That really bright white that you need, and then you can't. I finally found it in a taffeta at Hobby Lobby, of all places.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a lot of bridal stuff, kind of stuff there, oddly enough. Okay, come on, you get down. Stop that. Yeah, the mini stocking that we're doing is also one of mine that I stitched years ago in the pretense of doing videos like this and going, gosh, I'm not going to have any of those to do, because at the time I was retired. So I started a little cachet of needle pointing. All right. I'm just gonna go for it and put it down in and hope that it fits and I don't have to try to pop it back out. What do I want to mash it down in with? It's as good as it's gonna get. Whoop, there.
Look how perfect that is. I am so happy to witness this.
Me too. Yeah. If I'd went that little bit bigger, it was pulling on this side and creating a puff. So once I get my pins off, I'll be able to kind of mess with it a little more. I'll probably pop that out and pull some of the tabs a little bit because it looks like there's a little pucker at that end.
Where is that?
Hold
At
on.
the top.
Hold on. I'll get the view yet. There, and that side.
Oh, yeah.
That side. See, it's got a little bit of a hole down there.
I have to go.
Okay, bye, honey. I'll
I
videotape it.
I'll have to catch up with the tape. Oh,
Yep.
darn it.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Bye, bye-bye.
See you on Tuesday. Bye.
Okay, honey, bye. All right. So now I'm going to cut the ribbon. Okay. Yes. About there. All right. Now I'm going to just be marking this because I think I'm going to leave a gap because I'm going to try to see if I can find some I might be redoing the ribbon part, but I want to put these in for you so you know. So we know we're going to skip a spot here and here when we sew the lining in. Just push them together and move your pin to there. Okay, so you know where to skip. Make a hole. All right. Oof. And I think it's there. All right. Now, there. So I'm gonna kind of just do a larger stitch along the lining, because then when I come back in with the cording, it's gonna be nice and tight against there. So let's just set this in. So I'm going to not quite sure why this end gave me so much grief, but we'll get that pulled right in and you won't even know it's there. So let's skim up through here. Oop, cotton. Of course, the one safety pin I have, I catch on my thing. And we always grab, 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 right? Okay. Grab the fabric, pull it in. Grab the fabric, pull it in. Let's pull that over like that. We're going to grab this like that. Okay. We're just going to pull that moire back in. Okay. Just like that. All right. Grab. Okay. Gonna do the big leap. Oop. Okay. Like that. tab. Now I leave the holes for the ribbon to slide in because trying to work around them as you're just, trying to put this on is a bit daunting. Yeah, like really pain in the tuchus. So you might because we are putting cording on the edge of this, you just might as well you just might as well put it on when you're doing the cording. And you can just sew them in at that time as you're going by with that. All right, I think I need, see how my is up a little higher? No, I'm okay. It's just that pin was pulling it up. I think. I'm going to kind of roll that in a little bit. Right. So remember those little angle ups that we had? This is why we want them. Because these little points that were angled out, you can grab them and pull them out to the edge that you're trying to meet. Now that that one is done, and we are going to end our cording here, beginning and end. All right, so we're going to knot that off there. We're going to come, sugar. All right, I don't really need that in the back because I can hold this up with my finger. I'm going to come through here, out here, and leave the hole for our cording there. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Back to doing ladder stitch. And like I said, because the material I chose due to the kind of funky colors that I have. If this was an ultra suede back with a satin interior, I might not have had to have put the cording around the top. And, you know, oh, yep, almost didn't leave my hole. Bigger jump. There we go. Okay. And all of a sudden this is just gonna like bam come together when we get around this side. Alright. Okay. Okay, big jump. I can actually take that out because I'll be able to see the pinhole there. And we're going to put the ribbon in these spots in just a minute. Oop. Alright, hold on a second. I feel like this video is a little too bright. Alright, I'm not going to worry about it. Go from super light to outside to rainy grossness, and the studio just becomes kind of a gray bog. Alright. Now, see, I should not have cut that stitch because I needed it. So I'm going to take this and go like that to pull it tight. Okay. I don't want it to pucker the back seams. And then we come here. This is my curly, curly, curly. Stop that. Once, twice, around. Okay. Alright. Then we take it in to here and we pull it out through here. Long tail, always. No failing knots. Sorry, I have to message someone. Alright. So then we take our ribbon and we push it in there. Okay. And then we push it in there. This is why I use grosgrain and don't usually use this satiny stuff, because it pulls when you're trying to shove it in. And sometimes I will turn the tab over, the end of it over, and put a little glue on it so I have something to pull against. It'll stay straight. Okay, so there's one. We're going to come to the back. We're going to go like this, and I know that I have a gap here. That's the way to do it, right there. And then here, put a little tab like that and push it in, or use the blunt end, that helps. Make sure they're the same size so when they hang, right? Okay, now's the challenge of working around the cording, or around the ribbons. It can be such a pain. You can tack it on there with a pin, so you make sure as you're going around that it doesn't pull out. And as you're going by it, well, you can go through and tack it now if you want separately. I just put a couple of hitches in it when I go by with would go by with the other. I have left bags like this without the cording, but I just feel like this one does need it because of the fabrics that I chose, that chose me, sort of. Oofty, my hair is getting in my face. Now, I could use this cording, but I like the ribbon handles, so I will continue to scour for a better color. Or maybe I'll find some sparkly blue beads and put them up on a wire so that they look different. Now, when you're doing cording like this, you want to slide it that way. You don't want to stab it straight down, okay? Because when you bring it around the other way, you want to slide it in and marry it in this corner. You don't just want to have, come on, get in there. It's being difficult. There. Okay? Like that. Now I gotta pull it back a little bit because I can feel it went way over there. And I want to bring it back up to the edge a little, okay? Because when I come in from that way, I want it to lay going and go that direction and marry them together so they look like it's one continuous cord, not just a dead stop and start, okay? Yeah. So I do things a little differently when I'm putting cording onto needlepoint because I don't want it to, I don't want to put this, same reason why when I'm doing putting cording on a pillow or anything else, if I'm going to see any fishing line, I want it just any boo-boos where it doesn't get down in there. I want to make sure that, okay, I want to make sure that it's that the spot, well, you're not going to see it because this is shiny cording, but if you, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about 20 things at one time. When coming up and going in on the back side allows you to hide a lot of sins, because if it's going to show, it'll show on the back side, not the obvious, on the front. We do the long diagonal over. So there's a lot of fishing line holding it down. I'm coming up right behind this ribbon. Okay, and at this point is when you're going to tack your ribbon in. Okay, just bring it through and do a couple loops through, come back up on this side to here and go back in and do your ribbon. I am only not doing that because, like I said, I am bound and determined to find a ribbon that is closer in color, so I can give this as a gift. Or just have it look right, because it's going to make me nuts with this wrong color on here. Or find, like I said, sparkly blue beads. I don't know. This is always more awkward, not only because of the ribbons, but because I'm trying to keep this in camera shot for you. So I'm sorry I'm so slow. Usually I hold things a little differently. Oh, sugar. Well, that is one of the reasons why you should pin in your ribbons. Hold tight, everyone. I'm gonna put that back in. I'm just gonna put a little pin in there. Same for this side. Okay. I think they're a little more susceptible because the needle point isn't as slippery as the other side. And actually, some days, it just takes me a few minutes to think about how I get around stuff like that. Okay, at this point, this is where you're going to tack in your next handle. Okay. You're going to do that. Oop, I caught the pin. And around the corner of the bag. Okay. I like to hold that when I pull it to make sure it's pulling it correctly. Okay. Okay. And hold and pull. Okay. See, this really is where you get that rounded top from. Because when it cinches it down, it just gives it that nice edge. Okay, get back in there, you guys. Okay, we go in there, and we come up here. Come on, stop that. So many things to stop us. Okay. gonna bring this so our thread came up there. We're going to go in through that one. We're going to catch this needle point stitch here. Yeah, that's okay there. There's still another one down under. Slide it up there. It should cinch that right down over all of our little sins on that end. Now we catch the blue side. Come up on the green side. Come on, get down in there. Now, the one thing you want to do when you're doing your handles is make sure when you're stitching them in is that you make sure that it is being stitched in straight, okay? Because if it's a little wonky, your handles won't hang straight, okay? Bring that around. Right. Get back down in there. Okay. That. Okay. Look at that. Hides all the boo-boos. Down through the blue. Well, this way. Now's the time to tack in your ribbon. Okay. So you want to go back and forth through that, put a knot in, okay? Make sure as you're going that your lining is staying against and doesn't pucker, that you're not causing a pucker on the interior, okay? Having a hard time coming up in the green where I want it to come up at. Okay. Okay. All right. Now we need to pull our cording. Oof, it's getting all out of control. We need to pull our cording around, hold it out straight, get it wrapped around that. Okay. Now, the reason I'm doing this with my thumb is it's getting a little ripply along the edge of my blue. So I don't want to be over tightening this too much. Okay. again, there's always going to be challenges with every fabric that you use. Obviously, some are a little nicer than others, as in a little more forgiving. Silks, not so much. Okay. And with something like this that's potentially going to be handled a little more and it's soft-sided, for me, I talk about this every time. People are touching it all the time. It's soft. A glue will fail on it, trying to put cording on it over time. It's just, it's only so malleable. Okay. Gotta twist that a little because it's untwisting. Gotta straighten my ribbon because it's getting a little cockeyed there before it gets tacked in. Always straightening. This is our point where we want to come up right before the ribbon. This is where we tack it in. Sorry. I usually hold things right against me to get leverage and come on. Alright. And straighten this back out again. Always keep your cording lined up to what you want it to cinch down to. Where am I? Okay. Let's try to pop this back down inside so we're not fighting with it so much. Okay. Alright, so now you've went back and forth and you've got it all tacked in. Never a good sign. Hearing all those sirens. Okay. Okay. Almost there. Yay. Now, traditionally, it usually doesn't take me this long to do one of these, but you know, it's always different when you're talking and teaching a class. Even though, oh no! Well, the meeting ended, but thank goodness my camera kept recording. Just gave myself a heart attack. Okay. So I'm going to come out here a little bit past, right? And I thought for sure I had moved this, but apparently not. There. Okay. Just gonna save that bit of cording. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna take this, and when you marry things together, I'm gonna slide it on the back side, okay, of the other cording. So I'm gonna arch that out so it's nice and kind of flat. I'm gonna try to cram this in behind. Oof. Bad angle. Kind of just trying to make a hole where I know it needs to go. This is why I glue my ends of my cording, because then when I start really pushing them around and trying to get them to go where I want them to go, they go. Okay. So what we want is to push that bit in and pull that bit down so the top of this looks seamless. Okay? Just like that. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to take this little bulbous part here and kind of push it under. And then we're going to kind of pull that side in as well. Okay. Don't worry. Just a second. Get my needle back on here. get my thumb piece back on here. We are almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Okay, I'm going to grab the bag here. Try to. Going into that seam won't be easy. Okay. Okay, just like that. Okay. And then it's a little hard to see because of the metallic, but I need to push that back down in. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come under I'm going to do there, which then we're going to pull that like that, push that down in. We're going to come up, we're going to grab this little bulbous piece right here. Ah, yeah. Almost ripped that. Okay. So it kind of bent our interfacing back the wrong way. So we're just going to press it back with our finger and get rid of all that ugliness. Okay. We're going to come through this. I know, it's a lot of spinning around and pushing around and manhandling and yeah. Then we're just going to bring this through to here. Okay. Alright. Pull that. To here. I'm going like right into some glue of that corner. Okay. We're going to come down here. You're going, why are you going down there? Because I want that all to pull together and be seamless. Okay? And I can bury my knot right here in this little corner. I'm going to come back up through the needle point. There. Okay. Pull. Nice and tight. I'm going to grab this little silver guy here. Hopefully. That. We're going to go 1, 2, pull. Okay. Come back down. Pull straight up through. Take our needle. Kind of mash it back. And done. Okay. Now, everybody will have been sewn in, even though mine are still not, because I'm looking for a better option. Okay. Oh, I gotta cut my little bit off here. Right. And there it is. Boop. And boop. Look at that. I might have tucked that in a little too far. Ta-da! And there we are. Ooh! Oh, our little butt fell out. Well, isn't that interesting? So here's what we're gonna do. Yes, we need to go back in and manipulate this. Remember, this was kind of questionable before, so I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm pulling all of these tabs. Looks as though that guy is tucked up the wrong way. Let's pull it like that. See if we can manipulate it out of there. Oh, there it comes. This is why we love the doll needle. Okay, just like that. Now, let's see how it looks in there. It looks okay. This part has just popped up. Okay. Like, what is going on with that fabric? Okay. Let's look. Let's look. Okay, that side's fine. That side's fine. Okay. What's that? Oh, it's nothing. Okay. And I feel like it could be a bit chubbier on the sides. Interesting. Okay. So this is what it was before. Maybe we should have left it. I want to see what it's doing. Okay, so that side went in fine. That side's fine. Okay, let's pop our little paper out here and see. Boy, that's pretty close. I hate to go much bigger, so what I think I'm gonna do is this. Might seem like an odd fix, but when it comes down to millimeters, make sure it still looks straight. We're just going to wrap it in another layer of fabric, okay? And pull that end in a little more. I think it didn't wrap tightly around that end. It's funny when it gets to be that close. To where if you think, man, if I do I could redo this and it ends up being the exact same size, but you just need that little tiniest bit more. Really don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just cover it with another layer of fabric. These are the challenges of doing an interior that you don't know the exact size of. Now you will notice that it is going to look a little softer on the edges than, like a hard edge. I don't care. In the bottom of this, it doesn't have to sit flat like the bottom does. But I have done this to a bottom piece of fabric before. Because it was just so close, but not quite, And Okay. That needs to be glued down. Got like 10 pair of scissors over here. What the heck? Crazy. Okay. Alright. See how this works. Put this end this way. And look at that. There we go. Perfection. See? Look at that. Just that millimeter of... Here, let's see if I can get a light, better light. See? It just is right down in there. Just making sure that I'm feeling it actually is and it's not just an illusion. Yeah, it is. All better. Alright. Ta-da! Oop. Ta-da! Pull it up a little. I don't know how much that helped, but there. There. Yay! Alright, everybody. Take care. Thanks for joining the class or signing up. And I hope this helps you make your own cute little tote that you can give to someone. Bye!